Welcome. You guys are here for Visualization Techniques for Success. And I am JoAnne Pavin. Some of you know me, some of you are new. So, welcome, and I'm glad you're here. I will introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a health and human performance coach, first and foremost. But I've been in the wellness space for about 2 decades, starting in the early 90s. I've been into wellness for that long. I studied biology in college, and from there, I've just let the dominoes fall in wellness. I am a certified weight management consultant. I spent some time in India studying Ayurvedic medicine and yoga. And I have been a licensed massage therapist for over 25 years. So that gives me a background in somatics and body work. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist, which is a big part of the teaching today, which is visualization. Visualization is very important in self hypnosis and hypnotherapy. And I'm here today on behalf of the School of Humankind. And the School of Humankind was erected as a result of a visualization that two people who I will introduce, I think Angela will be here in a little bit. Angela Jameson is one of the founders, but they actually had an idea. And of course, here we are today in manifestation of the first week of our free events. So what the School of Humankind is, it's a number of different experts from around the world just sharing their insights and free conversations and opportunities to get to know people and to listen to others, and not necessarily with the same thoughts or the same perspectives on things. So we want to open this community up to people with different ideas and be able to have conversations and participate in roundtables or panels and share points of views from a global community. So we are just sort of letting everything flow organically from School of Humankind, and keep up with us and join our newsletter because we are expanding the faculty. And if you have a specialty or you have someone in mind that might be good for the School of Humankind, we're open to that right now. So we're just planting the seed and letting it flourish. So that's a little bit about me and the School of Humankind. Just went over that. We're all about expansion. We want to expand people's consciousness. We want to expand their ideas. We want to get them out of just what they're regularly taught or what you spend time in daily. So we want to bring you into containers with new ideas and really stimulate creativity and enhance connection. And also, we want people to know that everyone belongs. Everyone from around the world should feel this sense of human, quote unquote, kind, that we all want to accept and listen to each other. So that's like the perfect utopia, right? So today I have done my introductions, but I want you to understand visualization. We're going to go through guided visualization exercise and then have a little discussion on your insights on the visualization. And then I want to leave you with practical application of it and how you can start implementing it in your daily life. So the simplest way to explain visualization is imagination or mental imagery. So when you close your eyes right now, I just invite you to close your eyes for a brief minute, and you can go back to breakfast. Or if you didn't eat breakfast, you can go back to your coffee or your tea. Or if you're calling in from another time zone, what you had for lunch or dinner. And just picture right now what you ate, what it smelled like, what it tasted like. And if you have trouble visualizing, it's normal. So I can help you with that at the end. But that simple visualization of just going back to what you ate for breakfast, it might stimulate a response in you, or because of the short introduction of that, you might have not had any response, but you can see it, right? You can see what you ate, what you drank, and that's the mental imagery. But what's really cool about the brain is the brain doesn't know if something is real or imaginary. So we can play with the brain and we can program it to see things and lay down new neural networks so that what we see actually becomes real life. So we also stimulate chemical reactions. So if you think of something joyful in your mind or go back to like a really exciting event in your life, you can feel that elation, whether it's, your first job or your marriage or having a child, whatever it may be, getting a promotion. You can go back to that moment, close your eyes and feel like, yes, that was good. And it can stimulate the feel good chemicals. In the same way, you can mentally go to things that happen that are bad. But what we want to do is to continually default to things that are good so that we can program good chemical release, the serotonin, the oxytocin, all of these brain chemicals and glandular excretions that are good for us. And we can counteract the cortisol that happens to come out when we're stressed. And not that cortisol is bad, but we don't want an overabundance of cortisol in our systems. And that's the stress hormone. And stress hormone tends to be in excess in a lot of our lives today because of all of the inundation of technology and just how much we put on ourselves and overwork and fast-paced society. So now more than ever, we do need to slow down, take a breath, visualize how we want to feel throughout the day to counteract those cortisol secretions. And so I wanted to make a point again is that we're here today because we had two people who had an idea or imagined an idea about the School of Humankind, John Britton and Angela Jameson. They came together about a year and a half ago and decided that they wanted to create this community of learning, a new way of learning. And what did they do? They imagined, they thought about it, they brainstormed about it, and then they focused on it. And they worked at it, focused at it, and finally they allowed it. And so it's not all perfect, but they're allowing it to happen in flow and sort of releasing it to the universe. So that's pretty cool because we're experiencing a manifestation of a visualization today. About visualization, if you have any knowledge of ancient Greeks or the Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic medicine or even American Indian traditions, they've used visualizations for thousands of years. In more of a modern times, I'm not French, and please forgive me because the only experience I've had with France is in the ride Ratatouille in Disney World, but I think this is Emile Coué. Emile Coué was a French pharmacist in the 1900s, and he was the one that coined, if you've heard in affirmations, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. He coined this term. He was proposing that we can't will things because you've ever heard of, when you force things or when you push, things don't typically happen. It's you allow things and you allow the flow to happen and they happen to be, more attainable because you're not pushing. So what he said is that let go of our will to will it and allow and relax. And so he would often have his patients relax. He'd lead them through what we now know as guided visualization. And he would have them repeat every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. And he had recorded over 40,000, they said 40,000 cases over the time that he was practicing, 40,000 people that he had helped, which I don't know, that seems like a large number. For my research, it might be an extra zero there. But in any case, he was helping these people with what we now know is visualization, guided relaxation, and affirmations and auto suggestions. So that was at the turn of the century. And we all know about Jung and Gestalt. Well, you might not all know, but we've heard of Carl Jung and Gestalt therapy. And those come from the same places where we are what we think. So be careful about what you're thinking or your last thought because you're only as good as your last thought. And then I don't know if any of you have heard of Shakti Gawain and her famous book, Creative Visualization, but she has this approach to everything is energy, thoughts are energy, and that if we focus on our thoughts in a positive way, that they will be emitted out into the universe and it's basically the law of attraction. So if we're thinking positively and focusing positively on something, that it's the law of attraction that we're going to get the positivity back. And I want to bring up Joe Dispenza. I will take a break for a moment after I talk about Joe Dispenza to see if you have any insights on the documentary Heal, or if you've heard about the documentary Heal. But Dr. Joe Dispenza was trained as a chiropractor, and now he's committed the last 30 years to studying basically neuroscience and the study of the brain. What happened to Joe is he was in a triathlon in the early 80s, and he was hit when he was riding on his bike, and he was paralyzed, or supposedly paralyzed. But with his with his dedication to healing, or knowing that, coming from chiropractic, knowing that the body can heal and that the same intelligence that brought him to the planet could then heal him, he committed to trying to heal himself, and he was successful. He decided to visualize for over 6 to 8 weeks, rebuilding his spine. So if you haven't seen the documentary, it's about 6 or 7 years old. I would highly recommend watching Heal. It's on Amazon Prime, or you can Google it and watch the documentary, because it is a number of experts talking about the mind-body connection and healing. And Joe is walking proof that you can heal yourself given the proper structure and the proper discipline with visualization and meditation. So I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has a number of books that you can read, but I'm going to take a moment now. Has anybody heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza or any of the people that I mentioned? I just want to give you a moment.
JoAnne, thanks for this is Susie. I was just going to say, thanks for the recommendation on the movie, and I'm going to check it out because, I've obviously heard of him, but I don't know any of his work. My neuroscience background experience has come from other sources.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to check it out.
Yeah. He's just, he's got a lot of amazing motivation behind, his research and his findings. And any retreat that you might go to with him around the world, he actually has people measuring the brain activity in all of the meditations and visualizations so that they can get the living proof. Because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, that all sounds great, but I don't believe it. So what it is, it's like a biofeedback participating in some of his events, because you're actually seeing, like, I can actually change my brain when I'm relaxing. So I thought I'd bring that up. I'll go back to, if nobody else has any questions, I'll go back to.
I'll just chime in and say I saw Heal just a few months ago for the first time. I was on an airplane and it just it shook me. I was on an airplane going to like a very deep family thing. So it was like the perfect start to that experience, but I loved it. And yeah, Dr. Dispenza was very compelling.
It's mind-blowing too. So we talked a little bit about the chemistry that happens when you are visualizing as far as imagery is concerned. So there are the secretions of serotonin or dopamine when you're thinking about really positive things. And you have also, adrenaline and cortisol that might be released if you're thinking of things that make you anxious. So we do know that there's a thought and then there's a chemical reaction to it. And so what's positive about visualization is if you're going to train yourself in seeing that positive imagery, that you're going to start laying down new nerve pathways or new tracks. And it's a practice of seeing a movie in your mind, basically. And what we can do is, when you're guided in a visualization, you begin to relax the body. And when you relax the body, you start to quiet the conscious brain and you start to activate the subconscious brain. And there's sort of like this bridging of the conscious and subconscious, and you're in the middle there, so that you're allowed to listen to positive suggestion, but yet your body's relaxed enough where it's taking it in and it's not analyzing or making logical sense of it or trying to push it away. So that's why we always go into a relaxation state before we start to think about what we want our life to look like. And again, I gave that example of Dr. Joe Dispenza's rebuilding of his spinal cord through visualization. I want to give some personal stories, which I think they started when I was about 9, maybe 8 or 9. And I grew up with a pool, and the neighborhood kids used to come over, and I so wanted to do a flip. I wanted to not only dive, but I wanted to do flip everybody. My brother was about 6 years older than me, and he was doing like double flips off the board, and the neighbors could all do a flip. And I just wanted to do the flip, but I would always just end up, I don't know, belly flop, just it wasn't working for me. So I remember I so wanted it badly. And it was more of a competition between a girl who was about my age that used to come over and swim. And I went to bed. I can recall this like yesterday. I would go to bed at night and just play out the steps on the board. And I would measure out the steps on the board and the bounce, and then imagine myself up in the air, flipping over. And I would work that over and over in my head. And I think it was for like about a week, because I was like, I'm so mad that my friend who lived down the street, her name was Ailey, she did it and she was younger than me before I did. And I was like, I can't believe she could flip before I did. So lo and behold, by the end of the week, after thinking about this night after night, I was able to flip. And of course, I basically, no pun intended, but I flipped out. I was like, this is so exciting. I can finally flip. But I attribute it to that mental picture of me doing it nightly before I went to bed. And so I started activating that just for any sport, or basically anything I was doing from 9 years old on. And I did some competitive sports, and I would activate that. And then I had some coaches that were really tuned in, and they'd say, well, think about it, see yourself doing it. And so I had this reinforcement that yes, visualization is powerful and it does work. And related to body work, I started working out of a clinic when I was in my early 20s, and soft tissue therapy and helping people recover from injuries. And I'd have to guide them through relaxing a muscle, or I would give them imagery about melting the muscle down, breathing into that area to release the tension, and then also giving them signals to imagine the tissues healing. And I remember I'd get great feedback about how they were progressing in their therapy, because I was walking them through those steps, basically telling them, you're going to imagine with each breath that this is letting go and that your muscles are relaxing. And so firsthand during body work, visualization is very powerful. And then I want to give this example, and you might have heard it, but it's this 1950s study at University of Chicago. This is a long time ago, but there was Dr. Biasiato, which I'm probably botching his name, but he did research with basketball players and how effective visualization was with their free throw shooting. So he divided them into 3 groups, and over the course of the month, the first group was told to spend an hour a day practicing free throws. And the second group was told just to visualize themselves making free throws. And the third group was told to do nothing. The third group, as you might guess, saw no improvement. They were the ones who were told to do nothing. The second group, which was told to visualize, just visualize, got 23% better. And the first group, who actually made the shots, only got 24% better. So there was a percent difference in how good the visualizers were versus the people who were actually practicing. And so we wanted to show is that improvement can take place in your sport or in anything if you're mentally training. So mental training, and we know that there are sports performance therapists that make millions of dollars working with athletes, professional athletes, Olympic athletes. We know now this really is effective and it does work. So let's try to put this into action. I want us to take some time. We're at about 12:25. It's 10 minutes, maybe less than 10 minutes, that I want to go through this guided visualization. And then I want to hear your insights after. I'm going to stop the screen share, find a comfortable spot. So if you need to relocate, and feel free if you want to lay down. And I just want you to get to where there's no distractions. And if you have your phone, maybe put it on Do Not Disturb. And I'm going to guide you through just a simple guided visualization. So let's tap into the breath. We'll just take a deep breath in and exhale slowly out the back of the throat. Just make yourself comfortable and listen to the sound of my voice. If you haven't already, close down your eyes. And soften your brow. And unlock your jaw. Just allow yourself to relax. Take another deep breath in. This time, try to exhale twice as long as you inhale. If you're sitting, you might feel the energy travel downward. You might feel more grounded in your seat. I'd like you to put your hand on your heart. Start to notice that your heart rate is slowing down. And just relax your eyes. With each exhalation, I want you to imagine the flow, releasing tension in your shoulders, down through your neck, into your upper chest, and your upper back. Make any adjustments you might need to make to your body. Breathe into those areas that you might feel tension. Breathe in. Breathe on top of that breath. Exhale completely. Just go with the flow of the muscles releasing down your lower back to your hips. Just like a wave of soothing relaxation moving throughout your body. Relax your upper legs, your knees, your calves, ankles, all the way down to your toes. Allow yourself to feel that relaxation from the top of your head all the way down to the tip of your toes. Now I'd like you to go to a place, one of your favorite places, whether it be outdoors or indoors. Take yourself to that place where you feel completely relaxed. What do you see? What do you smell? Who are you with? What are you feeling? What are you hearing? I want you to be in this place, this favorite place. I want you to breathe in that feeling of relaxation and safety. And now I want you to imagine a goal. It It can be a goal you want to achieve by the end of the week. It can be a goal that you want to achieve by the end of the month or the end of the year. Just put that goal in your mind. Don't force it, just whatever comes. Now, if you have it, sometimes we have to mentally clean it up a little bit, brush it off, get really specific about that goal in your mind. Now, I want you to imagine that you have achieved that goal. How do you feel? You might be smiling. What are you doing now that you've achieved that goal? Who are you with? What are you hearing in the background? You might even be tasting something. Imagine that goal is achieved. Take in all the feelings, breathe it in. Breathe it into every cell of your body. Exhale slowly. You've done a lot of work to achieve this goal. You feel on top of the world. This is one of your best days yet. And just imagine that day right now. Like you're writing a movie script. Remember this moment. Take a couple deep breaths at your own pace. As you're breathing, I want you to focus on that goal. Maybe guide each exhalation towards that goal. If you want to anchor the goal, you can bring your thumb and your forefinger together and just anchor that in. And just know that anytime you can go back to visualizing this goal like it's already been achieved, like it's already happened. With your breath, you can go back into this relaxation with your breath to imagine success, achievement, vitality, energy, all the things. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can slowly come back and open your eyes when you're ready. And you can come on screen if you'd like and share any insights. So, does anybody want to share?
It was a beautiful exercise. I always like when you you take me to the point of relaxation. Is, is your mascara running?
Yeah, I was
It's
like
like,
closing my eyes and
do we
all I
have to
would
do
realize.
do we have to do the check?
Yeah. So, yeah, so you felt relaxed.
I did. And so I really want to finish my book this year. So I was envisioning that and then everything that can come out of it, that it just seems to be just one of those blocks that I have in terms of getting it done. I mean, there's so much to do in other parts, but I easily give the writing part up just to get everything done. And I know I need to do it, but it felt so good to get it done, and it felt like it's just marks the start of something even better. So I need to sit in those feelings of achievement and success that will continue to drive me to figure this out.
You will. You will. So
Yeah.
I'll repeat it at the end, but I'll say it now. It's give yourself the space to think about it. And we only took maybe like 7 minutes to do that, if anything. So give yourself the space to think about it, to imagine it, and then to allow it so that you can attain it. So it's really simple, but we don't give ourselves that time. And it's such a small amount of time that we need, just a couple minutes a day to do. So I'll repeat that at the end, but that's one of the things that you can even write down, because writing it down is always good for our brains. And anybody else before I go back to my notes, before I share screen?
I can share.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
Let's see. I had trouble getting into relaxation. I go in periods, of meditating more, and then now I'm in a period of meditating less. So that was a really great, awareness. Like my body was available to like really relax, but my head was not. And so, I'm taking that as like great feedback for today. And that feels really true. And then the other insight I was having, so my goal is to launch, or I guess like relaunch, but really a launch of my website, my brand. And it's a hard process that I'm trying to squeeze in, and I'm applying a little bit of force to it, and I'm in the struggling with where to allow and where to have more deadlines, and like I'm in that dance quite often. And what I was revealing to myself is like the deeper I go in this process, the prouder I'll be of myself. And that's ultimately what I want. I want to like launch it and just feel proud, and, feel like what I'm launching is like just every word is like true. Every picture is, like what I want to exude, and the timelines really don't matter. So that was really helpful to get into the state of like feeling the pride of pride of ownership, pride of the process. And when I'm trying to rush the process, that makes it quite difficult. Yeah.
Yes, it's the process, right? We do have deadlines to keep, or else nothing would get done, right? So there's that fine balance of doing what you have to do, but then allowing the rest. So just meditate or visualize on one thing that would help you feel good each day towards that process, and then you're just kind of breaking it down so that it doesn't seem overwhelming to you.
Yeah.
And I have to take that advice myself. So, okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to finish up with notes. And then if anybody has to drop off because of time, I understand. But I'm going to go again. And we shared. And now I want to just give you a couple notes on programmed visualization and receptive visualization. So what we did was guided visualization. I was guiding you. Now, programmed visualization is, say, if you're doing a sport, I'll just use running or running a race as an example. You can go run your race in training and then go through the whole course like you're rehearsing a script for a play, but you're rehearsing the course exactly as you're going to do it in the race itself or the competitive race itself. Just like somebody would study a script to put on a play in a performance, you're just going through the motions in your head, just like I was going through the motions in my head to do that flip off the diving board. I was doing program visualization. Now, receptive visualization is a little bit different. It's when you put yourself in that favorite place. Just taking, for example, if you're going into relaxation, you're taking your breath and you go to the beach or you go to the open field, wherever it would be, where you feel your best. And then you ask yourself mentally, if, why can't I relax? Or why can't I focus? Or you ask yourself a question. I'm just giving that example. Why can't I finish my book? In Angela's example, why can't I finish my book? And not that you can't, but why am I not finishing my book? And then you wait and guidance will come. So you are mentally waiting for the answers or the guidance from your subconscious. And that's receptive visualization, which is sort of fun because you never know what your subconscious is going to tell you. Why can't you relax? Because my kids are always bugging me. That's what my guidance tells me. Anyway, practical application of this. This is exactly what we went through, but when you do this on your own, you want to be in a comfortable spot. You want to loosen your clothing. You want to be totally relaxed. And you also don't want to skip scanning the body for tension. That's important because you want to go to the areas that might be locked up, that need to be released. And then you want to be really crystal clear about forming those mental images and use all of your 5 senses. And act like it's in the present moment, like you've already attained it. So when you're in that place, I put you in, I said, act like you've already achieved that goal. And how does it feel? So you can put yourself in your favorite place, imagine yourself there, then imagine how you're feeling once that goal is accomplished. And just take that in. Again, this is neural networks that you're laying down, new neural networks that you're laying down that just make it easier for you to achieve what you need to achieve because you're reprogramming your brain. I won't touch on these very deeply, but the vision boards are good. So if you physically want to put something up in your office or in your house where you have pictures of what you'd like to achieve, superimposing your picture on top of things, so that you can actually see yourself there, whether it be like in a new house or if you want to, achieve a certain degree, you put yourself there. Journaling is very helpful. Writing out what your goals are and then continually reading them or rewriting them is really good. And then affirmations are those I am statements. So today I am feeling well in every way, or today I'm feeling relaxed. I am statements where you are experiencing that emotion that you want to experience. So this is really important. The 4 steps that you want to set in place for that future goal is that you have to set a believable goal. Like, in the depth of your soul that you can achieve this goal. You believe it. If you can't believe it, you're going to have trouble achieving it because you have to really get your brain in that believable mode. And you want to create a clear idea, crystal clear mental picture in the present tense as if it already exists, because our brain, like I said, doesn't know if you're visualizing a memory or if you're visualizing something that hasn't happened yet. The brain doesn't know the difference. So you can train the brain to think that it is happening now and that it is attainable. You want to focus. That which we focus, we strengthen. So that's a big hypnosis, self-hypnosis tip, is that which we focus, we strengthen. So be careful what you're focusing on. Continually check in with yourself throughout the day. What am I focusing on? Because you're strengthening that. And if you focus on that goal, you'll make it an integral part of your life. And eventually it will manifest. And you want to give it positive energy. You want to see yourself achieving and receiving. So give yourself that affirmation, I can do this. It's possible. Instead of negating, which we always tend to self-sabotage. Oh, I don't have enough time, or maybe not this year, or someday in the future. No, it's happening now. Give it that positive energy. I am doing this now. I can feel it now. And with that reinforcement, again, you're just building the brain up to be more energized towards working on that goal. So we had said it right after Angela had talked about, but this is the recap. This is a simple recap. I don't know that the acronym makes sense, but if you want to remember it, SIFA or double A SIFA. So space to think, imagine with clear imagery, focus, allow, and attain. So you want to write that down on a sticky note. That's really helpful because it'll remind you to give yourself that time. And again, the time can be as short as 2 minutes to start, building up to 7 minutes, maybe daily. And really being consistent with doing it daily will help you get closer to your goal. Okay, so I have come to the end and I want to thank you for coming to this week's event. This was our kickoff of free events for the School of Humankind. And Angela, if she's still here, I will introduce her and allow her to share any insights on the School of Humankind. But I would encourage you to follow our page. We just started this week on LinkedIn. And go to our website if you want to stay up to date with any of our upcoming free community events. You can join our newsletter or go to our events and courses pages on the website. And as we grow, we'll be expanding our faculty. So if you have any interest, you can reach out to Angela or John. I want to say thanks again.
I'll be brief, but thank you for all of you that showed up. Is really great. And especially JoAnne for sharing your expertise. And that's what we wanted this school to be all about, is that we didn't learn a lot of the survival and understanding life skills in school. So we wanted to create a school where we could learn those skills and where we could bring together experts from around the world who are used to doing what they're doing. Like JoAnne is so good with nutrition and yoga, and JoAnne, you have so many hats that I'm excited for you to do all of these events so that we can all learn from you. But it's just to bring people together to strengthen humankind and to also be kind to each other. We want to have conversations that are not always easy, but to show each other how to have mature conversations. We can disagree. Our opinions do have space to exist in the world. And we need to expand our understanding and our respect for each other. And that's what this school is all about. And so thank you for showing up today. This has been our first week. And if you join our library, you can see the welcome video that John and I did. We had a great technical day where we sent out the wrong link. So it was a great start. But
That's
it's
okay.
Library, and we did have a couple people who texted us saying, "Hey, where are you guys?" So do that. Feel free to contact us for any ideas. We're going to be doing a lot of these community events, not only information sharing, but just having discussions. We're going to, pull a topic out of the jar and have people talk about it and hopefully disagree. We want to have like a fight videoed. Just kidding.
Yeah.